was gonna say something about boxing before.
Yeah, let's do it.
So like I just remember like in the 90s or 80s, every time you saw like a boxer, it was the same. And right before the fight, they would do that thing that told you about the boxer's life, so the audience could get like emotionally invested
in it. Yeah.
And it was he just got out of jail.
Yep.
He grew up in the streets. His parents didn't really have parents, and you see him doing the road work and running. And he got out of jail. He learned to fight in jail and went to the gym, and then blah 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 blah. And now he's here at this fight. Yeah. And it's just like every boxer had like the same story.
Everyone has that. Yeah. So many. There were so many.
And I'm sure in MMA,
it's the only story they paint. Really,
it's the only story they paint
because you think of fighting like it's a poor man's sport. Blah blah blah. Hate to tell you, man. A lot of times, fighting does come because you have no other options,
right?
And you have this tenacity. You're trying to fucking get somewhere, and you're going to use your hands to do it, and you have the drive and the passion for it.
Right.
That's where the best fighters in the world come from. Mm-hmm. So I get that part, but at the same time too, like Klitschko's super educated. He has a fucking doctor's degree. What? But in MMA, there's a lot of educated dudes. Well, but that's not a fun story to tell people. Right. Like Kenny Florian, I think he played Division I soccer, and was overseas, has 2 degrees. Like he speaks fluent in 6 other languages. Right. Like there's some really
isn't
smart
that
people.
because
Shane Carwin was an engineer?
Yeah.
They don't want to hear that story.
Right.
Like to me, I remember Shane Carwin was doing an interview and he was fighting Brock Lesnar for the world title, and Dana White called him and asked him to quit his job.
Word?
Yeah, he's like, yo, he called me and Shane were in his truck, and it's like maybe 10 or 12 weeks before the fight, they're just getting ready to announce it. He's fighting Brock Lesnar. Doesn't get any fucking big. You know what I'm saying? But all the attention Shane was going to get, and he was already a world champion because he beat Frank Mir, and all the attention he was going to get, how would it make the sport look if Shane's fighting for a world championship? This fool's an engineer on the side.
Right.
He's also an engineer. And Dana's like, yeah, I think you need to quit your job. We'll offer you this much money as a severance package to do that. Shane was like, Shane's one of the smartest people you'll ever fucking meet. And Shane's like, there's just no longevity in that. You give me that lump sum of money, that there's no 401k, there's no health benefits. I'm just not going to quit my job. I like doing my job, and I can still fight. I'm also a freak of nature. I touch him, he's going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like
hilarious.
He wasn't like, most people are like, ooh, hell yeah, I'll take it. Shane was like, nah, man, like I might have head trauma. I need health care. I got a family. I actually like doing my job, and I'll never forget that. But
that's crazy.
The point of the story is they didn't want it to come out and be like, here's Shane Carwin, world-class athlete. He also has a day job.
Because it would make them look bad as an organization.
Yeah, because think of Peyton Manning.
It's not romantic.
Peyton Manning, Super Bowl MVP. He also works at Radio Shack. You know what I'm saying? It's like it shits on the sport.
Right.
But that's where the sport was at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
As MMA got more and more popular too, real athletes like you guys started coming in too. And so sometimes when you come from other sports like football and stuff, you need a lot of support. It's expensive. You need family support. So I think as that sport became more legitimate and real athletes, like guys who were like D1 athletes like you guys. Guys like you were like, I'm a D1 athlete. I'm looking at these guys. I've been playing sports my whole life. I'm going to come in and leapfrog a little bit.
I thought it was crazy because I think most people would have jumped all over that.
Yeah.
Like this will make headlines for sure. Those Cheeto finger writers are going to write all about this. But I'll never forget that. We're in his truck, and to me, all I thought about was fighting. If they would offer that to me, I'm like, fuck yeah, hell yeah. See ya, Radio Shack. But
if I was Dana, I would have went the other way. I would have said he's an engineer. Who fights.
I know.
But he loves fighting, you know what I'm saying? I would just went the other way. Because you have enough people with the, out the gutter story. It would have been great and refreshing to have, like, the engineer dude who can handle somebody from the bottom, you know what I mean?
I agree, man. Like, he's an educated dude. He went to School of Mines, which is insane. He also taught there. It's fucking nuts.
You know what?
He has an engineer degree, and then at the time he had 2 little babies. You know what I'm saying? He's a wife.
Let's go with the
He's
family.
Working 9 to 5, then driving 2 hours to come train with me, and then training all night, driving back home, has his food in his car,
crazy.
and then waking up next morning doing it all over again.
Damn.
And he's beating everyone in the world.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's a cool story.
That's a cool story.
It is, and you'd have to tell a story because otherwise, the other story that trumps that you end up rooting for is the guy who's like I heard Nate Diaz. He trained because he would get a burrito afterwards. There was a burrito truck, and he
Okay.
would. And when you hear that, you go, "Oh man!" You think of a young, skinny kid who's really hungry and he's training so he can eat a burrito, and you go, "Man, I
You're
want
rooting
that
for
guy
that
to
guy.
win." Yeah.
Well,
It's
the same-
romantic.
It's the same thing. Like I've done, 2 or 3 Kimbo tributes now, right? Kimbo Slice who passed
Right,
away.
right.
And what pissed me off most about all this is they never told his story. Like they told the story
What's
of
his story?
Kimbo being broke and fighting in backyards, and he's this rugged dude, and he'll knock anyone out. He's down to fight anyone. I'm like, whoa. Kimbo was a dude who was a football player, and because of the hurricanes, it destroyed his football career. He was planning to go D1. And then it ruined all the shit. He got hurt. And you're talking about a guy sleeping out of his car and taking showers in the ocean and in random pools, you know what I'm saying, just to make ends meet. Then started backyard fighting to pay the bills for his kids. Not because he's some vicious dude, he's some gnarly-ass fighter.
Right.
None of that. He was doing it just to pay for his kids, to put food and clothes on their back. And then you're talking about a straight family man who's nice as fuck.
Damn.
And was literally like the way they portrayed him on the Ultimate Fighter, and same with me, is like he's this cocky, like just scrapper. Nah, he was
Why do they like
he's a
putting
family
out the
dude.
same story? Like everything you just mentioned would make me want to see, like, and root for Kimbo Slice even more.
More of a
you know,
fan.
you know what I mean? But I think they want people to look scary or some shit.
But in which I don't get, and this is why like podcasts, and there's been such huge influencers like Joe Rogan and all these guys that where if you can have a fighter come on, or you have a fighter start his own podcast and they can tell the story. Because I always say, don't let the UFC, don't let the NFL, don't let the NBA tell your story. Why would
Right.
you let someone else tell your story? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you have someone sit down and be like, well, Ian Edwards did this. What the fuck? No, bitch, this is what's going on.
Right,
So I
right.
think with a lot of fighters, it's tough. Their story gets told, but it's not the way they want it to be told.
Right.